So if you asked me that and I had a blank look on my face, it's because it's hard to do. All right. I feel better. I hope you do too. All right. Well, let's get started. I want to talk about some things this morning that we've got to take control over to do this thing big. And anything we talk about this morning, you can control. And it's the willingness to take control that makes all the difference. So any of you that have done this Sunday thing with me before, we do some fill in the blanks, we got some worksheets, and we'll just get started. Now, if you miss an underlining word, just ask your neighbor, or afterwards, I will leave this up here, and you can come take a picture of it. Because it's kind of hard with this many people to be like, can I have number 2.3? So, let's get started. What's the first thing we got to take control over? My behaviors. Yeah. It's our behaviors that really determine where we go in life. Now, poor and unhappy people think they can't control their behaviors, or they're not interested in controlling their behaviors. But not controlling your behaviors is still controlling your behaviors. Like, there's no third direction. So not controlling your behaviors means you're just a slave to societal norms, right? Choosing to control your behavior, that gives you freedom. It sounds the opposite, right? And I didn't grow up hearing these concepts. It's when I met Andy that I started learning these concepts. But to choose not to control your behavior, it just makes you a slave to societal norms. What's cool, right? So, our life's outcome is pretty predictable. I like things that are like a math problem, like an equation, because you can figure it out. So, who wants a great life's outcome, right? Anybody want a moderate life's outcome? I love John Maxwell says, people are going to summarize your life in one statement. And it's so true. If you go to the worksheet that looks like this, I'll give you the equation. Here's the equation. Your life's outcome, that's the sum, right? That's on this side. So then you got to go to your numerator and denominator to figure out, how do I get to that? So you solve it backwards just like any math problem. Solve it backwards. You know the sum, or you know what you want the sum to be, right? So now we got to figure out how to create that sum. Well, we create that sum with the numerator and denominator here. So you look at the equation, it's behaviors times years of life. Now, which one of those can we control? Behaviors. Last night at the after party, somebody came up to me and they were like, dude, it freaked me out when you said we're all just tailgating our own funerals. So I know you're out there this morning. I apologize for the lack of sleep you got last night. That's on me. When you look at it like that, it makes, life and death seem not all that crazy, tailgating our own funeral. All right. So of those two things, behaviors or years of life, which can we control? Behaviors. You can't control years of life. And it goes fast. I know some of you really young people, it's going to happen to you too. When I was your age, I thought there was two groups of people that the entire earth was made up of. Young people, and then old people. As far as I knew, they've been old as long as they've been old. I don't know what happened to them, right? And then the calendar starts working on you, you're like, oh. And it messes you up too. Like, I remember when I started being older than athletes. This one messed me up. I was doing my annual physical, and I realized I'm the same age as my doctor. He said, yeah, we're about the same age. I was like, what? How? But you're a doctor. Like, we're so young. How did you have time? And he says, this is why I love my doctor. He says, Stephen, there's people our age that even became astronauts. So you can't control years of life. All you can control is behavior. So you look at the columns, and here's what I want you to think on. The behaviors I engage in, are they rich people behaviors or are they poor people behaviors? Because if you engage in poor and unhappy people behaviors, that times years of life equals a poor and happy person's life outcome. Poor people behaviors, like TV watching. Well, think about it. What do they advertise on TV? Poor people stuff or rich people stuff? Yeah. Who buys Bud Light and potato chips? Who's the biggest consumer of products like that? Poor people. That's why they advertise on TV. So next time you're watching TV and you see the commercials, think about that. Be like, oh no. I'm putting myself in a demographic here. Rich people behaviors. Investing is a rich people behavior. If you haven't invested in your business yet this weekend, please invest in your business. One of the things I love about the Alliance is this. It's a place where we invest in our business, where I can travel and go to hotspots and everybody's got the 8 Steps books and the new agent guide to hand out. That's rich people behavior. Poor people is make some Xerox copies of this and just give them a whole mess of Xerox copies and CD I burned myself. Here you go. Welcome to the family. We used to be like that, but not anymore. This group invests. But work through this. Take some time. And then here's what we do on the back. Start eliminating some of your poor people behaviors and then replace it with a rich people behavior. And don't overwhelm yourself. Just work on one at a time. So maybe your poor people behavior is TV. All right. TV goes on eliminate. Replace is read. Right? Make sense? So just take some time and work through that this weekend and in the coming days. Analyze what you do with your time, because in the end, the behaviors is what determines our life's outcome. The years of life does its own work. You don't have to control that. You don't have to work on that. But the behaviors. All right, let's go back to the fill in the blank. We don't get to choose our destiny, but we do choose our behaviors, and our behaviors determine our destiny. At the end of the day, we do choose our behaviors. And even not choosing your behaviors is choosing your behaviors. So if you behave like everybody in your socioeconomic demographic that you're trying to get out of, you'll never get out of it. This is stuff I learned from Andy. This is stuff I was not taught. Make sense? If you behave, hey, the life's outcome, if you behave in your marriage in a way that doesn't make marriage last, it won't last. Like, I know a guy right now. They're going to get divorced. I promise you. Here's the crazy thing. Neither one of them know it yet. But the way they're behaving times years of life equals. Does that make sense? I hope to God they change their behaviors. But right now, that equation equals nasty split up. I don't want that to happen to anybody. So please analyze your behaviors. Do it not just in the business, but in life. Because I want you to be happy and healthy and wealthy. You know what I'm saying? All right. And wealth is much bigger than just money. I don't have time to explain all that, but I think you see it in the life Andy lives. Does that make sense? All right. You can shape your thoughts. That's true. You can choose what you think about. It doesn't mean you always have perfect thoughts. You should hear some of the stuff that bangs around up in here. Kind of like a rock, like. I mean, sometimes I feel like it's like my life is like they put Tigger in charge instead of Christopher Robbins, you know? Actually, my life is more like they put Tigger in charge of the publishing house that published the books. That board meetings, right? But you got to control your thoughts. Here's why. Your thoughts shape your feelings, and your feelings shape your moods. And your moods drive your behaviors. So if you want to go back to the previous thing we're trying to solve, where does it start? With the thoughts. People say, I'm just having a bad day. Where did it start? It started with a thought they could have controlled. Then you get all the way down to the behaviors. Make sense? All right. Regularly ask. I don't want to ask this, so I'm going to move through this quickly. What's it like to be on the other side of me? Because that makes me think I need to behave better. What's it like to be on the other side of me? What's it like to be my spouse and have to deal with me all the time? Best marriage advice I ever got, old family friend, when I was getting married, he said, now remember this, good chance, there's a good chance she might be as annoying as you are. Yeah. What's it like to be on the other side of me? The same behaviors can only produce the same or diminishing results. And I say or diminishing because as the world continues to change and move forward, the same behaviors are going to be worth less. Make sense? That's why most people never really elevate above their parents' socioeconomic demographic. Now, expansion of the economy will make it look like they've done better, but in relation to society in general, they're in the same spot. Make sense? Because it's the same behaviors can't produce different. Because that's really all we do. We're repeaters and modelers. The most inaccurate statement is, I was thinking. No, you weren't thinking. You were getting ready to combine some thoughts you heard from other people. Make sense? So, same equals frustration. Here's the thing. Moving upward requires new upward behaviors. New upward behaviors. So, if you've never invested in your business before, make today the day that you pull the trigger and make a big investment in your business. That would be a new upward behavior. Make sense? If you're not in the habit of leaving love notes for your spouse, make today the day you choose a new upward habit. Make sense? All right. Number 2, my time. In this business, time is the only finite resource we have. You can always make more money. Money's the easiest thing to make. Think about it. If you got an insurance license, dear Lord. People say, well, I can't finance my business like you do. How do you think I did it? Money's the easiest thing to make. Dear God, you got a license? Go make some money. Time is the only finite resource. Now, if you go back to the other sheet and think about that, about behaviors, what are poor people loosey-goosey with? Yeah, time. They'll say things like, don't cost me nothing but my time. Like, oh my God, that's expensive. Yeah, once that breath is out of your body, that one's gone. You can't get that back. Make sense? Happy and wealthy people allow priorities and principles. Priorities and principles, that's what they allow to drive what they do with their time. Priorities and principles. If you can't name your priorities on one hand, you have no priorities. Because if everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. And you think back to the behavior sheet, what's a priority for poor people? Oh, dear God, everything. Oh, yeah, I can't go to that hot spot. Dancing with the Stars is Wednesday night, you know? Maybe after the season, you know, but everything's a priority. I got to do this. I have to. So if you have a ton of priorities, you have no priorities. Rich people they keep their priorities simple, and that's what allows them. The priorities and principles. That's what drives what they do with their time. Now, in the converse, poor and unhappy people are driven by urges. Driven by urges. An urge would be like the opposite of a priority. Make sense? And other people's whims or supposed emergencies. That's what will kill somebody who goes full-time in this business. Other people's whims and supposed emergencies, right? What is it about the universe? What signal goes out in the universe when it's supposed to be your dial time? Mama calls, cousin calls, buddy calls. And it's always important. But see, if you want to be happy and wealthy, you have to make principle-based decisions, not based on other people's supposed emergencies. And you could really write this in, and the accompanying guilt trip. Yeah. Well, actually, let's just do this. All right, you guys are all, boop, boop, now guilt trip immune. It don't bother you anymore. It don't bother you anymore. You can't let other people's emergencies and guilt trips drive your life, or you'll end up unhappy and broke. Well, what if Mama gets upset? What if Cousin Daryl gets upset? If they get upset about that, I promise you it won't last long because they get upset about a lot of stuff. They'll find something else to get upset about. And then when you're the one with the pool and all the amenities, they'll come back and say, I always believed in you. I am so proud of what you have done. Yeah, remember when you were pissed off at me because I couldn't come do this for you? You know what I'm saying? Principles and priorities, not urges and other people's whims or emergencies. Now, this is why. Because every yes you say, when it comes to time, requires a no to something else. That's why when people get newly married or have a child or any life change they go through, one of the things I've started to advise them to do is you got to make a list of other things you're going to stop doing. Because if you want your marriage to fall apart, or if you want to get unhealthy, then don't make a list. Because that's what happens. You know, people get married, and then they keep doing all the things they were doing, and then wonder why they don't have the relationship they want to have. Or people have a child, and they keep doing all the things they're doing, and then they're taking care of their health falls off the table. Does that make sense? Because if you don't choose the sacrifice, you'll make a poor sacrifice, typically. Unless you're smarter than me. And that may very well be the case. But I know for me, if I don't make a chosen sacrifice, I'll end up giving up something important. Make sense? All right. A craving. Oh, no. A no. Every yes you say when it comes to time requires a no to something else. Be careful with your yeses. A yes when it comes to time is a very, very financially heavy decision. Think about it. What's the most expensive thing any of us have? So when it comes to, will you do this for me? I need to talk to you. Be careful. That's an expensive decision you're about to make. Poor people don't view it in that light. That's why they just get pulled around by their urges or other people's emergencies. They don't think about the power and how expensive a yes is. Yes, when it comes to time, is a very expensive decision. Be careful. All right. So go to this sheet in your handout. All your time's going to go into one of three categories should you decide to move forward. You're either going to put your time into quote-unquote normal activities or into building the business, and then that determines how big this quadrant becomes. You see, I put the arrows there because these lines move. So here's what happened a lot of times. Brand new, scared, broke. You slept in a tent behind the Waffle House just to be here. We're willing to shrink the normal things to absolutely nothing so that we can build our business. More time we put in here, it fuels how big this grows. Now here's what happens. We start getting a little bit comfortable, and then we start sliding some more normal stuff in. What's normal stuff? Well, normal for your socioeconomic demographic you're trying to get out of. So here would be an example. Holly talked about the 72 Club for the Dolphins and spending $15,000 on 4 football tickets for that. That's a normal activity for us now. But back then, a normal activity would be laying on the couch with my cousins drinking cheap beer. So what happens is sometimes we get unscared and then we start feeling the normal thing. But these lines move at the same time. They don't move independently. So the more normal stuff you pull back into your world, just know you're squeezing out the crazy fun, crazy impact. And so from time to time, I would encourage you just take this out and think about this. What have I put back in here? Because that's going to move these. My goal is to keep this as narrow as possible because I either want to be helping you guys or doing something crazy fun. Not moderate, so-so, $500,000 a year income fund. Not that. I want crazy fun. Does that make sense? But it's your choice what you do with the lines, but just know wherever you start putting your time, these lines move together. They don't move independent of each other. You can't put a bunch of normal stuff in and not squeeze out crazy fun, crazy impactful. So let's go back to our fill in the blank. So I love doing this because, well, first of all, I love helping, and I'm always driven by the most altruistic motive possible. Yeah. Feel free to bask in my righteous glow. But believe it or not, I used to be pretty mischievous in school, so it's fun to play the teacher. It's like I'm living out some weird fantasy in my own head. So every time I hear the pages turn, I'm like, So in case you're wondering what that little pause is, that's what that is. I used to have this teacher, she pulled me aside and she said, "Are you a doctor?" And I said, "Not yet, thinking about it." This is in like 8th grade or something. And she says, "Well, until you are, clean up your handwriting." Yeah. So for the rest of that year, I signed all of my papers Dr. Davies. Yeah. You don't want to get in a shenanigans battle with me. You know what I'm saying? Oh. Thank God I met Andy and started putting that creativity to a better use. All right. A craving for the normalcy of your current or previous financial situation will plateau your business. People say it sometimes. They come up to me and they ask the wrong question. Hey, how come so many people seem to stop at $150,000 of income? And what the real question should be is, what's keeping me from becoming a millionaire? But they're not asking the right questions. Make sense? And that's a poor people behavior, asking poor people questions. How come nobody's done this? How come? And it's that statement right there. Yes. A craving for the normalcy of your current or previous financial situation will plateau your business. So what happens is they get up to 150,000, 200,000, 500,000, whatever it is, and then the normalcy grows. That's what causes the plateau. Make sense? So, and will you get plateaued? Yes, more than likely. Actually, I kind of hope you do, because then it'll make my plateaus look, normal. I mean, if you just like are a freak and keep growing, that's going to make the rest of us look bad. Yeah, help the team, jeez. So if you feel like you've plateaued, I would go back to this and go, what have I allowed to creep in? What poor people behaviors have I brought back into my life? All right. Next thing, my emotions. Go back to the behavioral chart. What are poor and unhappy people, what are they always out of control with? Yeah. They say stuff like, "He just made me get so angry." Or in traffic, I always think in traffic, it would be funny on an elevator to do what people do in traffic, right? Somebody almost comes in your lane in traffic, and you're like, "Eat crap and die!" Somebody bumps into you in an elevator. "Eat crap and die! You did that on purpose! You started this day off to ruin mine!" See, poor and unhappy people, they don't control their emotions. They're always upset about something. That's why I said if they get upset at you for building a business, don't worry about it. They're going to get upset about something else in 3 minutes anyway. Yeah, because a lot of people get up every day to try and ruin their day, so they'll find one of the other people that are part of our conspiracy theory to ruin their day every day. They'll run into one of the other players in our scheme, so it's fine. I just wish they appreciated how many conference calls and meetings you and I have to, simultaneously ruin every day for them. Appreciate the craft. That's all I'm asking. Emotions can be your greatest asset or your greatest liability. I was talking about Andy last night, how I've seen him get horrible news and then go, "Well, here we go." You have any idea how much money that little thing makes? how much impact that produces. That ability to just go, well, it's a powerful quality. All right. You can't have sustained growth and wildly fluctuating emotions. You can't. It's impossible. You can't have wildly fluctuating emotions and sustained growth. I said it backwards, but I think you know where the words go. I'll leave it up here. You can come take a picture of it. We're going to run out of time otherwise. The amount of money and impact you will make will be in direct proportion. Money and impact in direct proportion to what you allow to annoy and upset you. I was talking to a guy on my team. I love him. And he's giving me every reason why it's impossible to go agency manager anymore. And I just said, dude, do you want to know different why I make a lot more money than you? Can I help you? It's because I don't allow to upset and annoy me what you allow to upset and annoy you. Does that make sense? Because there'll always be problems. It's what you decide to allow to upset and annoy you. If you go to the other worksheets, I gave you something to take home and work on. It's the one that says situation, did, typical, should, would. I want you to think about the last 20 situations where you lost your temper. The last 20 situations that you said something you shouldn't have to somebody you love that, dear God, you should go back in time and take back. Last 20 situations that you got down and depressed. I want you to think of the situation. Then I want you to write in what you did. How did you react to that situation? And can we agree if it makes the list of top 20 crappy things, this was a mistake? Okay, so then I want you to go to the third column and fix it. Now, when you do this, a really refreshing and encouraging thing will come out of it. You'll realize that there's patterns. And you're not bad at a lot of stuff. There's only going to be about 4 or 5 recurring situations that cause you 99% of your stress, frustration, and tears. And it's just those 4 or 5 that you don't handle well that causes all that. And just being aware of it will help you fix half of it. So when those things come up at you, just go, breathe, dog, breathe. We say that a lot on our team. Breathe, dog, breathe. Holly will tell you, Holly can tell you, she's heard me say that millions of times over the phone. When I'm talking to somebody that's just out of control, I'm like, breathe, dog, breathe. Breathe, man. And if you just start catching that before you flip the switch, make sense? All right, let's go back to the handout. That's why Holly says, men don't grow up, they just get chubby. But remember from last night, I used to weigh 500 pounds, so. Oh, it's inspiring. All right. It's not about being perfect, because you and I will never be perfect. It's about getting faster at flipping the switch. From negative to what do you think that is? Nope. Productive. That comes before positive. Make sense? We flip the switch from negative to productive. That's what will get you to positive. See, the problem is we try and just go, I just got to be positive. You can't be positive without being productive. Does that make sense? It's the action that causes the emotion change. So flip the switch from negative to productive. You'll get to positive. Just stay productive. Make sense? Awesome. And so what do? Well, think about something else. You can do that? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Think about it. Come up with your go-to. Some of you know this about me. When I'm really upset, I like to picture what it would be like if Cookie Monster was a pimp. Yeah. He don't want the whole cookie, just his percentage. He kind of looks like a pimp, don't you think? I've thought that since I was a child. So when I think about that, I go, It's not that bad. He's got the googly eyes, you know. We've never seen his legs, but I assume he's got kind of a... I'm not saying being a pimp is okay. I'm just telling you this helps me when I'm in a bad mood. Yeah. And give Cookie Monster a break because it ain't easy. All right. You don't have to deny your feelings. And this is hard. This is hard for people of Irish descent because typically what we do is just bottle it all up inside, and then one day we get to die. So. You don't have to deny your feelings. You just simply need to delay them when you're upset. And some people say, you have to give way to your feelings. Bring me one of them and prove to me that they're rich and happy, and I'll change my mind on it. So it's not about denying your feelings. It's just about delaying them. Here's the question. Is this emotion going to be productive right now? That's not in the notes. That's an extra. Don't get pulled into doom forecasting. Oh, dear Lord. Poor people do that. Unhappy people do that. Hey, you and I might have done that a time or two. Somebody said something to you. They didn't know it. They didn't even know it, right? And you went from A to zombie apocalypse like that. You spent the rest of the day chewing on it, right? We've done that. You know, it's just that he don't respect me. He always does this, right? It was one simple slight and we doom forecasted. Or somebody shows a lack of integrity and rolls a lead bill to you. This is the end. I'll never get free. Right? Brotherhood. 200, yeah, breathe, dog. If $250 was what was going to be the game changer from you getting free, I think you misinterpret what free means. So don't participate in doom forecasting, because I promise you this, and I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to be proactive. You're going to face challenges in this business and in life that you won't feel ready for, that you'll feel, I've been there. I've gone through things where I just couldn't sleep for a solid 3 to 6 months, just wondering if everything before that had just been good luck, good fortune, you know what I'm saying? Wondering if this is the new normal for me. Make sense? We all go through that. Please don't get into doom forecasting. I promise you, you're in control. You can get back anything you lose, right? All right. Time spent having a bad day is non-refundable. That's why I'm hitting you so hard on all this. Time spent having a bad day is non-refundable. So I said a yes is very expensive. A bad day is very expensive. It's even more expensive. Just one of them days. That's a choice, bro. That was a choice. You allowed some feedback from the people around you or the situations around you to decide that it was going to be one of them days. There's not some calendar in the universe that has all of your bad days already scheduled on it. I promise you that. There's no great timekeeper that's like, you know, August 26th, let's put it in there. But don't make it as bad as September the 7th. I really want that one to shake them. Don't get me wrong. Some days give you more positive feedback than others. But if we spend a day having a bad day, we can't get that back. We can't get that time with our spouse back. We can't get that time with our children back. We can't get that time not impacting the others around us back. We can't get it back. So please, think carefully on that. All right? All righty. Turn your pages, please. Or y'all's is on one page? Oh, you guys are already on the back. You beat me to it. Nice. Mine must be in a different font. Perhaps my assistant thought of my advancing age and gave me bigger letters. Breathe, dog. She always does that. That was on purpose, trying to embarrass me in front of 1,000 of my friends. Yeah. We're back. All right, fourth thing we got to control, my efforts. Resources flow to personal commitment. If you wonder why not much is coming to help you, look at your level of commitment. That's why I love when I watch people, if they're, when they're given an opportunity to invest big in their business, that shouldn't be that hard to say. Why am I struggling with that? I think it's the coffee that I chase with a Red Bull. That might be part of the problem. My brain's making letters fall out of my mouth faster than my lips can move. Not all senses are heightened to the same level, I guess. All right. What the heck are we talking about? Oh, yeah. Opportunity to invest, and I see somebody bet big on themselves at an event like this. I know I'm happy for them because I know they're about to feel very fortunate because resources are just going to flow to them. There's something about somebody that's personally committed that just brings resources. People say, I can't get my people fully invested. How fully invested am I? Make sense? Resources are going to flow to personal commitment. Now, here's the good thing. Obstacles, adversity, and fear. Obstacles, adversity, and fear melt in the face of determined action. Now, here's what I say we all do. I say instead of falling in with the masses, I say that we be a model of hope to the hopeless. I say that we be the light. You know what I'm saying? I say that we be the model of faith and determination because I know that melts all the other obstacles away, right? I'm not saying you'll never have anything bad happen to you. You will. Sorry. But I just know that obstacles, adversity, and fear melt in the face of determined action. Watch somebody on a mission and watch them move through their adversities and obstacles and fear. Now, people that don't take control of their emotions and all the stuff we're talking about, here's what they call somebody that's growing. Fortunate. Lucky. He must be getting help I'm not getting. That make sense? It's just a man or a woman on a mission. And so that's why it doesn't look like they have a lot of obstacles or adversity. I promise you they do. They just melt in the face of that determined action. Fear's the same way. You'll never not feel fear. It's what you do when you feel it. My fears are paralyzing. No, they're not. I love you. Just move forward, please. You'll see that they're not. It's hesitation that makes fear grow, right? You ever jumped off something really high? I spent my high school years living in the country, so you do a lot of that kind of stuff. There's not a lot to do, jump off something high, blow something up, play appliance bowling. When you go to jump off something really high, appliance bowling is a lot of fun, though. It's very dangerous. When is it most fearful? Yeah. What's building the fear? Hesitation. Once you jump, where's the fear go? Yeah. The fear usually goes out, and along with it, profanity. Seems to be a correlation. Fear goes when you take action. So next time you feel in the fear, take the action. Pull the trigger. And watch it melt away. The next time you face a big challenge, keep moving forward. Obstacles and adversity are cowardly. They don't stay in a fight long. that make sense? They wimp out early when they see you're serious about fighting. They talk a big game, though, believe me. Obstacles and adversity like that guy that's going, you better hold me back. You better hold me back. Y'all hold me back. I'm just about to get real. Come on. Obstacle and adversity, they talk a big game, but they're scaredy cats. As soon as they see you're serious, they go, oh, dear Lord. I don't want to get in a real fight today. We can't, no, showing up isn't enough. Now we're moving into not just moving forward, but how am I going to move forward? Showing up is not enough. Don't get me wrong, it'll get you through the adversity. It'll get things moving, but if you want to be great, if you want to help a lot of people, if you want to impact a lot of people, if you want to have a big business, showing up's not going to be enough. Here's what you got to do. Ask, am I going through the motions or pouring in my emotions? Those are two very different things. Going through the motions means, it's hot spot night. All right, gotta go to the hot spot. Oh, yeah. Oh, jeez, he's showing the plan again. Oh, dear Lord. Ha, 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 real funny. I like that joke. Oh, well, that's inspiring. Going through the emotions is opening the ATM and going, you know what, skip that page, screw it. Going through the emotions is time to do my interviews. All right, so tell me a little about yourself. Tell me about your background. Okay, sounds like you might be a fit for what we do. Here's what we do. I won't model what it's like to go through the motions in your marriage or with your children because that could get too real. Am I going through the motions or am I pouring in my emotions to my business? That's the question. If you're going to be there anyways, why not pour your emotions into it? Because that's the amplifier. Does that make sense? That jacks up the equation when you pour emotion in. That's the X factor. And you'll go through times where you're going through the motions, right? Here's what I'll tell you. Don't fight the feedback. You'll get feedback. If you're going through the motions in your marriage, you'll get feedback from your spouse. If you're going through the motions with your children, you'll get feedback from your children. If you're going through the motions, you'll get feedback from the world, okay? Don't fight the feedback. Go, God bless it, Stephen. Get back at it. And if you're wondering, am I the only one that goes through the motions sometimes? No. The good news is you're part of a large fraternity. There's a lot of us. But we got to ask these questions more often so that we flip the switch quicker. Because time, remember we started about time being expensive? Time spent without emotion, positive emotion poured into it, is worth way less than just time spent. So I say if we're going to spend our time, we get the most we can for it. We jack the exchange rate up. Make sense? All right. We can't afford to confuse what we did with our potential. This is a good thing to think about, especially coming into NatCon. We'll have NatCon in January. We're going to push hard through the fall. You're going to get results, but don't confuse what you did with your potential. You have got so much more in you, I promise you. If any of us truly ever grasped the depth of our potential, we wouldn't be able to sleep for a year. It's that mind-blowing. So don't confuse what you did with your potential. We all got another gear. We all got another level of commitment. We all have another level of discipline within us. Make sense? All right. Because this is why I like people that are out to do big things versus leaderboard watchers. I just got to do better than so-and-so. You know what I'd love? Let's not do better than so-and-so. Let's do our best. Let's do our best and let the levels fall where they fall. Let's do our best and let the numbers fall where they fall. Let's do our best and I'll meet back in Hawaii and talk about the next level. I love this Ted Williams, one of the greatest hitters in baseball of all time. Red Auerbach, one of the greatest coaches in the NBA of all time. He coached the Celtics dynasty from years ago. They're having a conversation. Here's what Ted Williams is asking Red Auerbach. Keep in mind, this time Ted Williams is the best hitter in baseball. Here's what he's asking Red Auerbach. What do y'all eat on game day? Why do y'all eat that? Despite being the best hitter in baseball, he was looking for another notch. He knew being the best hitter in baseball was not his potential, and he was looking for it. Let's start thinking more like that, all right? To be happy and fulfilled requires giving what we're doing our best. If you want to be happy and fulfilled in your marriage, you want to be happy and fulfilled in your business, you want to be happy and fulfilled in life, because this is all part of what we call life. It requires giving what you're doing in that moment your best. Going through the motions produces no happiness. So whatever we're doing, let's give it our best. That's how we get happy. That's how we find happiness. Giving it our best. And you know this, we know this, because we've done it before. We've given something our best, and we felt that feeling. We felt that feeling. That feeling is available for purchase at any time. We just got to give what we're doing our best. All right, last thing. My beliefs. We've got to seize control of our beliefs. Here's why. Otherwise, we just inherit our beliefs from our parents. And they weren't trying to screw you up, by the way, when they told you stuff that limited you. It's not like they had you and they looked at each other like, hey, man, let's screw this one up. Yeah, no. We'll have another and we'll do really good with that one, but let's have some fun with this one. It's going to be fun to watch him struggle psychologically. Think about it. He's going to be going back and forth to the therapist and we'll be laughing about it. Oh, he's going to have a hard time ever being in a relationship. Oh, yeah. Likely develop some bad habits. Oh, man, it's going to be good. It didn't happen. They were doing the best they knew how. They were just repeating what they saw modeled. The one thing they didn't do was choose to take control of their beliefs. Make sense? So that's what you and I got to do so we set the next generation up. People say that, when I was a kid, people would say, the children are our future. I went to my daughter's school, they're still saying that. I know a Ponzi scheme when I see one. Teach them well and let them do well. I walked in her school, I was like, the children are our future? Oh, bull crap, I was the future. Security had to take me out as I'm ripping the banner down. I'm assuming Holly must have been real proud because, I was taking a stand while others stood idly by. Here's why we got to take control of our beliefs. We cannot sustain performance at a higher level than we believe we can. You can for short periods of time. Like you'll leave here with belief. But it's up to us to make it stick. That's what's going to keep us producing at a high level. So if you want your conference bump to keep on going, it's us taking the belief that Andy's given us this weekend and doing something with it, making it stick. Make sense? Our belief about our potential is often based on the incorrect assessments of the people around us. Our beliefs are often based on the incorrect assessments of the people around us. And here's the key. And are based on reflections of their own insecurities. Don't let somebody infect you with their insecurities. Next time somebody tries to do that, just cover your mouth like, They won't come back. What are you doing? I'm trying to not get infected with your insecurities you're reflecting on me right now. That'll give him something to think about for a week. I don't know, man. He went down there to that conference and they talked about me infecting him with... reflections, I don't know, something. I don't know. Yeah. Hey, don't invite him next weekend to bowling. Weirdo. We can dream big dreams. But we will act in accord with our beliefs. Here's what I don't want for you. I don't want this to be another chapter where you give up a little more of your ability to dream. Because that's what happens. If you wonder how people end up old and broken, they've got too many chapters that reinforce the fact that they can't have big dreams. Here's how that happens. We inherit belief. Our dreams grow while we're here, but we don't change our beliefs. Our activity will go back to where we're acting in accord with our beliefs. That's why it's so important to start changing your beliefs leaving here. I want to give you a tool to use. If you go into your other handouts, it's the limitation test. Next time you have one of those limiting beliefs pop up into your old skull, before you do anything with it, test it out. Put it through the questions. When did I come to believe this is so? Why do I believe this is so? Believe this to be so. I was checking to make sure it wasn't typed wrong. I just said it wrong. We're cool. What can I control in this situation? If I started with a clean slate, how would I proceed? What alternative stories could I tell? That's where you really start to feel free of this belief, when you start telling different stories. Tell a different story about that thing that starts to try and put you down. Tell a different story about it. I can never be in a happy relationship because of what happened when I was a child, or what happened in this relationship. No. That bad stuff you went through uniquely crafted you to lift up somebody else in a way nobody else can. Does that make sense? That's the different story. That's where you start to feel free. Now you need some inspiration to go with that new story. Who is proceeding despite similar circumstances? Find some examples. Ask your growing agency manager for examples. Now we got to get real, and this is where we get free. What possible truth could I be hiding behind my limitations? What truth am I trying to mask with that I haven't made peace with yet, that I haven't gotten to? So anytime you get one of those things crop up in the old brain box here, I like to call heads that. You can call them what you like. Before you let it come out of your mouth or even become a full thought, put it through the test. Here's the cool thing. Limiting beliefs can't make it through the test. They won't be able to make it. Here's something else I want you to do. You flip over on the other side. I want you to build your winning record, because you got a winning record. You're a winning team. Yeah, you're not last place. You are a winner. You have won way more than you've lost. Well, I don't know, Stephen. I've had so many bad things happen. No, you haven't. You've won more than you've lost, I promise you. Here's the problem. We most quickly remember memories. We file them based on emotional impact. And negative emotional impact trumps the filing system over positive. But we can rewire it. This only has 32 spaces because that's how much the paper could hold. Some limiting beliefs are true. There's only 11 inches here to work with. So make the universe your paper. That might be deeper than I think it is. Hang on. Buffering. Start thinking. Start thinking about the victories. I know one of my victories was talking Holly into marrying me until the ink was dry on that contract. I mean, marriage certificate. You've got a lot of victories. Start listing them. It'll change the way you feel. When you do this, please pay attention to one thing. How you feel inside as you're thinking about your victories. Watch the shift inside of you. It'll be crazy. I hope you enjoy it. Tapping into our true potential. Back to your handouts, please, class. Mr. Davies, thank you. Oh, that's right. I forgot I'm a doctor. Got my PhD. Drew it up myself. Tapping into our true potential requires shedding our limiting beliefs. That's why we got to put them through that test. We got to shed them. No matter what low level of belief was deflected on us previously, your incredible potential is still there, ready to come roaring out. We fuel our beliefs with the clarity of our why, the media we take in, and our associations. I'll leave this right here afterwards, not during Andy's talk, but afterwards. You can come take a picture of it if you like. Because here's what I really just want to leave you with. We need you at your best you. You need you at your best you. You've got so much potential inside of you when it comes roaring out, because it will come roaring out. When it comes roaring out, you have no idea the wave that's going to create. We need you at your best you. I would love to see you at your best you. Guys, Holly and I love you. I'm glad we got to spend some time with you this weekend. Y'all take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Fitzgerald, Bill Lampe, and Mike Leventovich.
I got through all 7 pages, man. I was a little worried. Robbie put doubt in my heart as I'm walking out there. I'm like, can I get through 7 pages? Oh, thank you.
Did a great job, Stephen Davies. Woo! All right, here we go. Here we go. I know you guys are ready to get out of here, right? Put everything to use that you learned the last couple days, right? I'm fired up too. I can't wait to get back. A couple things you got to think about, right? So I know you take massive notes, I hope, right? Pages and pages. Some of you had your iPads out and you're typing like crazy. Your poor little fingers are down to nubs. That's a good thing, right? So now what are you going to do with all this information? Right? So we got to, sadly, somebody out there, maybe a couple somebodies, will never do anything with all this information they had. They'll never look at their notes again. I have never figured that out. It's kind of like going over there to the store, buying a book, reading it, and throwing it away. Who would do that? Right? So the same thing with your notes. You took all these notes from the weekend, make sure you make some use of it. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to put together your own little family reunion book. Okay? So today, or when you get home, whatever, if you're driving, don't do it while you're driving. But go through your first page of notes, for example, right? And I want you to number them. What's the top note on that one page? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. However many notes you have on that page. Do the rest for all those pages. Right? So every page is going to be numbered, whatever's the most important. Because think about this. You can't throw everything that you learned this weekend tomorrow morning and change your business, right? It ain't going to happen. We have to slowly put these in place. All right, so again, you're going to go through all your notes, you're going to number them all. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take all the number ones from all, let's say you have 10 pages. So you're going to have 10 number ones. Which is the most important one of those 10? There's the first chapter of your book. What's the second one? There's your second chapter. And on and on and on and on until you get all your notes in order, right, with the least little thing. Then after you get your book done, what do you have to do then? Have to take it to the editor or to your manager. Make sure you show him or her what you're planning on doing, so you're doing the right thing. Some of you might be all fired up because you learned about new products or learned about annuities or IULs or whatever. That's what you're going to start doing tomorrow. And then you show that to your manager and said, well, maybe you might want to learn how to set an appointment first. Just saying. So there's a certain order you need to do this stuff, right? There's a certain thing you have to do, right? Again, put those all in order like that. And what else are you putting in order? Have you picked up, all the different books from the stores? Have you gone through that? What are you going to do with that? When are you going to make the time to read all the books that you purchased this weekend? You have to keep doing that to build this business. This is never stopping, ever, ever, ever. You're constantly learning, you're constantly growing. That's what makes, the leaders and all the other leaders up front here, we're always filling our heads with something. We're taking advantage of all the things that Andy has, all the different packages and everything else that we can do. Anytime we get a chance to learn something, we're taking advantage of that, no matter what it is. That's the only way you can build your business, right? If you're not feeding your head with stuff on a daily basis, you're going to keep backing up. We don't want to see that, okay? But anyway, again, put that book together, and what else are you going to do with that? So now when you recruit people this week, okay, you have your book done, and now you can show them. Let me show you what just happened. We just got done with family reunion. Boom! Let me show you my family reunion book while you're signing them up for Fall Forwards. Right? And then they can have their Fall Forward books. And then you can have a national convention book. I had a time, I was looking at my notes yesterday, and the farthest notes that I go back on my iPad is Tim Goad, July 7th of 2012. Boom, I got him. Mike.
Whoo-wee. A lot happening. I'm curious. Put your hand in the air if you've got one of those red commitment bracelets attached to it. I'm just trying to see how many are out there. That's amazing. Give yourselves a hand if that's one of you. That's amazing. And if you haven't heard, no good deed goes unpunished. And I'm here to tell you your punishment. John Maxwell says it's one thing to make a decision, a commitment. The next step is to manage it. The management starts right now. It starts with what Bill said in terms of managing the information and notes, but now you've met this commitment. Let's come back to the basic tools it takes to manage that. Mastering the mundane. And here's the mundane. The mundane starts on the selling side. If your commitment has got something selling related, if there's a premium amount, it comes back to how many appointments do I need to book and what are my 4 W's starting today? Like my 4 W's, when am I going to dial? What is my specific appointment for appointment setting? Is your calendar out and have you laid it out right now? If not, you should be, oh my God, where's a pen? Where's my calendar? And be getting it out right now. This is serious emergency here. You're going to be wearing that stinking bracelet forever. In fact, we're going to be selling soap just so you can clean that thing without deteriorating it. You need to be figuring that out right now. You need to be figuring out, when am I going to run my appointments? Like, are you dialing in the airport today or in the car? Are you stopping where you have cell phone reception before you hit a mountain so you can dial today? Are you thinking it through at that level of detail? Are you planning to embrace the dysfunction and camping out on your couch for the next 2 days? Or are you going to be sitting there and saying, hey, I'm dialing here. I'm going to be in the field starting Monday afternoon or starting Tuesday and Wednesday. What is it that you're doing? From there, where are you going to run your appointments? What counties are you running in? What is your lead investment? These 4 things must be answered in meticulous detail to pull this off. It's doable, though. And you sit there and you take this plan, just as Bill was saying, you take it to the manager, the coach, or the leader that you know is going to help you be real about this, and sit there and say, Bo, I love that you said you're going to book 30 appointments this week. I think you might need more than 10 leads. I think you might need more than 2 hours of dial time. You might need more than 1 day to run 30 appointments. Come on, let's be honest with ourselves. Open yourself up to some truth in the accountability of what you're doing. Your lead investment might need to be more than $25 if you're planning to book 30 appointments. These are things we got to be aware of. Speaking of investment, by the way, Andy was saying the NAA store, the number of tools that have been flowing through with people stepping up to invest their business has hit record levels this weekend. That means each of you is taking this serious and you're loading up on the tools that you know you need to help you hit the commitment that you've made. And if you're thinking, oh wait, I might have forgotten something. Hey, there's still time. In fact, I just heard Andy talk with Becca. He's asked Becca to stay late this afternoon because he's thinking there's somebody here that might have forgotten that they need to get something. If you're hitting SEAL Team or you're hitting another level as part of your commitment for what you're doing, if you know that there's a recruiting part of that commitment, just as there's a set of 4 W's for selling, there's a set of 4 W's for recruiting. Like, really? Yeah, it's not that different. It's when am I going to do my interviews? When am I going to call the people? The next one is, when am I going to place the ads so I have someone to call? Here's the third one. Where am I going to place my ads? That means like what cities and what tools am I going to use? Am I already planning? Is it going to be Craigslist? Is it going to be Monster? Is it going to be Indeed? Is it going to be LinkedIn? What am I going to be doing? Where is that going to happen? And then the fourth one, just like when it comes to selling, what's my recruiting investment? What am I planning to budget to have available each week? If you said, man, I need to hire 2 people as a minimum to hit SEAL Team, or I know I've got to hit agency manager, I know I need to hire a few more than 2 to be on pace, then we need to make sure we're thinking that through and taking that same plan and presenting that to someone that can help us look at it and say, okay, this makes sense. I love that you're going to be doing 6 hours of interviews, but you just told me you're doing that on the same day that you're running your 20 appointments. Folks, get some clarity, write out your plan, and insert that interview time into your calendar in a way that it does not corrupt your selling time. These are the big boulders that are going to allow you to win and hit the commitment. This is where the management of the commitment starts. This is where the rubber hits the road. This is where you start to win. These are the behaviors that Stephen Davies was referring to. And we start to figure out in those moving lines, what are we squeezing out starting this week? What's the average and ordinary behaviors we're going to do without so we can get the crazy business side of things moving so we can gloriously remove that bracelet.
You know, it never ceases to amaze me. Not it never amazes me. That'd be weird. That's different. It never ceases to amaze me that when you get leaders together and start sharing thoughts, how many of the thoughts are so similar? Like you said, John Maxwell said it, anybody can make a decision. It's managing a decision that makes a difference. Managing the decision. Show of hands. Raise your arms. Who made the commitment? Some of you guys made some really easy commitments. Like, I'm going to cut this off when I get out of bed on Monday morning. I'm committed to getting on the plane Sunday afternoon. Yay. Some of you guys said, I'm not cutting this off till I go EVP. For you people who made crazy decisions and may or may not wear this bracelet for more than a week, you're going to have some naysayers. You're going to get home and you're going to have some people. Listen, how many people have somebody in your life that loves you? Okay. How many people have somebody that you're pretty sure wants you to die? Okay, we listen, if you don't have both sides of those, like, you've got a problem. You need people that love you, and if you're doing it right, you're gonna have people that hate you. And that's okay. You need both. You can't just have one. You're not effective if you only have one. So, what I want to share with you is really some thoughts on how to overcome it. You're going to come home, and your best friend's going to say, hey, you want to go fishing? Your best friend doesn't mean anything bad by that. Your best friend is just saying, let's go fishing. I'm not trying to steal your dream. I'm not trying to poo-poo on what you experienced in the weekend. I just want to go catch some fish. Your best friend means really well. On the other hand, you're going to have that person that hates you when you come home. They're going to immediately start pecking on you. What'd you learn this weekend? You learn how to get rich. Rich. You learn how to get rich. We'll see if you can get rich or not. We'll see. Oh, you read that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People? Aren't you just trying to learn how to manipulate them? This is stuff that people have told me. I'm not making it up. I'm remembering it. And so I had to learn how to overcome it, because if you get distracted, your dream's stolen. And you're wearing that stinking bracelet for a year, 2 years, 3 years. You committed to wearing it. So, okay, what you got to do, write down a statement of what you decided this weekend. This is the point when you go, still looking at me would be the wrong response. No, I'm writing it in the air, Fitz. Write it down, quick. This isn't a long, we don't need a thesis. You're not trying to get approved for some doctoral thing here. Like this, boom, this is what I learned. This is what I decided. I decided that I'm going to be agency manager by January's national convention. This is what I've decided. Right behind that statement, write down how this weekend made you feel. Real quick sentence. Not looking for a paper. Knee-jerk reaction. This weekend made me feel hopeful. This weekend, honestly, pissed me off just a little bit. That's okay. You build it happy or pissed, right, Noel? I was more the pissed one, but I've been happy a lot too. Now, I want you to just take a second and stare at those two sentences. Just read them. Read them a couple times real quick. Just look at them. Read them. Read them. Commit to this. Commit to what you just wrote down. Commit to it. So when you get home and your buddy wants to go fishing, no, I can't. I have a previous obligation to my family, to my friends, to the people I've committed to. I've already got these commitments. Sorry. Somebody says, well, you can get rich. Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen overnight, but I'm going to wear this bracelet until it does. I'm committed. Well, that's weird. Yep. Statistically, so is being rich. That's not common either. When the naysayers question you what you experienced this weekend, you now know the truth. Don't forget it. One of my favoriteest stories in the New Testament, Tim referenced it this morning, when Jesus healed the man that was blind. And the Pharisees came and said, who do you say he is? Who is this man? And I love it, because this was me. This would have been me, and this is me. Because I was like, man, see, so what happened was, I couldn't see, and then he spit at me, and like massaged in this mud. Now I can see. Like, that's all I know. I don't know who he is. I couldn't see him. Hello? I just know. Couldn't see. Then I could. That's all I know. People start pecking at you, go, hey, whoa, I don't know about all that. I don't know how the future plays out. All I know is I went to this conference and I came home feeling better about who I am. I went to the conference and I met some really cool people. That's all I know. I went to the conference and I saw a freaking Lamborghini. That's all I know. And now you work. You work. You work. You work. The proof is in the work. The proof is in the work. If you're committed to it, you work. Period. And that's their proof. And then they will say, I believed in you. They will believe in you because you showed them with your work. Not because you said, I don't know, I was blind and now I see. Well, what are you doing now that you see? That's what they're looking for. And that's how they'll know that what you experienced here this weekend was real. You want to be agency manager by January? It starts this afternoon. What can you do today? Then, what can you do today, tomorrow, right? And you wake up on Tuesday, you go, what can I do today? And when stuff gets hard, start reading that inside the circle of you and go, hey, okay, I got it. I can go work some more. You guys getting this? The proof is in the work. See it, Instant Thunder.
Must be present to win. Must be present to win. What do we have?
These have already been chosen.
These have already been chosen?
Yep.
They don't have to be present. Who are they? Mark Marcellus, he's here. Free something.
iPad.
You get a free iPad. Somebody gets a free CFG, Columbian Financial Group. CFG's giving away stuff for free. Who else got one?
Apple TV.
Apple TV. Tammy Peterson. That's awesome. Y'all need one in Vegas because there's no entertainment out there. And Jasmine Sanchez got a free Apple TV. Woohoo! They're right here. You come get them. Mark Marcellus. What's this? We're going to have a drawing for something. The bingo drawing.
So this is what they win.
What do you win? What do I win? Congratulations. We would like to award you with this certificate, which entitles you to one base ticket to the National Convention. How many do we draw? How many victors?
At least one.
At least one. Anthony Martin, you are a winner. How many do we draw?
There's you all.
Chad Tannehill, you are a winner. I'm going to do one more. Brandy Schutz, you are a winner. All right. Where, how about, Noel, how about grab me about 5 or 6 of those with a new agent packet? Who's planning on recruiting like crazy when you get home? Because you know what we're doing here. Because you know we're changing lives. And you understand we're not going to change the commission structure. You still get 10%, 20%, 30%, 40% override based on how big you are, based on how many people you've grown. You understand that? But how many of you are going to have a different mission about it? You're doing it because you know what we're doing. How many of you figured out what we're doing? You can't slip nothing by you. But I see what y'all doing. Okay. You guys come up here. The waiter guy that's no longer a waiter guy, and the almost wife who plans on being a wife or something. Come on up here. Come on up here. Yeah, say again. I want you to come up here and hand them to me. All right. Here's the way this is supposed to go down. So it's Chris and Rosa. I go, so the meeting's through. Davies has made them crying, laughing. Mickey Cruz has messed them up. He showed a plan. Chris Long has been in Nashville and messed them up. Terry Edwards has been doing Leroy and talking all kinds of crazy junk. Junior Korea's got them fired up. Katrina's done fired them up. They've done the plan, and you've talked to them. Or you're at the house. You go over to somebody's house. They say, yeah, I'd be interested. You say, stay right where you are. I'm coming over to your house. You bring a bunch of leads over there. You show them applications. You bring them some carrier. Say, now look, here's the 8 steps that we need for you to do. Here's the new agent guide. You start walking them through it. And you go, I'm going to give you this. Does that make sense? Do you understand? You're starting, there's two different ways you can look at this. I don't care what you put value on. You're starting a new hotel chain. Like in Monopoly, you know how in Monopoly when you finally land on one that somebody else ain't bought? You go get $450 out of you and you put it down to buy this property, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about? You buy the property, right? You don't say, when I start making money off of it, then I'll buy the property. Because if you do, you lose every game of Monopoly. Because the guy who's buying every property that comes along, you start giving him all your money eventually. You understand how that game works? Yes. Cash flow's the same way. You can't say, when I start making money, I'm going to start supporting them. You go like this. Look, I'm giving you this. This is one seed you're going to plant. It messes them up. Like, you can give it to us? Wouldn't charge them that? That's yours. That's what I do. I believe in my people. Take this. Now, so here's what you do. Did y'all, now, if Mickey just showed the plan, you say, and they hadn't got started yet, what did y'all think? Did y'all like what he said? Does it make sense?
Yes.
Good?
Yes.
Fired up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, look. Let's get back together at 9 tomorrow. Are available to call at 9 or I'll come over to your house?
Yes.
Now, if you're at your house, the same thing. Here it is. Y'all read it. What y'all going to do tomorrow, we'll get back together tomorrow. Does this make sense? This is very simple. And what we are about out of these, I've actually got 5 different sets. And Revis, we took what we had left and we divided it up. We said, all right, there's enough for a set here, a set here, a set under the exit sign, and 2 over there on each side of the store. So next, what you want to do is the next day or the next time you see them, they go, I read this all night. There's 72 of them in their case. There's only 4 of these. Some people are going to say, I'm still reading it. Then you don't have to give them this yet. But they say, I read it last night. You got to get this book in their hands. Right then, here's another book. I go, what is this? And go, look, don't worry. You're going to copy what we do when you bring people on. Not in the beginning, I'll support them too. But eventually, you start taking care of your people. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, here's what some people say, but my upline didn't do it for me. I go, your generation is where the beatings stop. Yours is where the abuse stops. With your children, with your you treat them right. Does that make sense? How many of y'all really, that's kind of like with your parents, you go, the craziness stops here. Or at least part of it stops here. And I try to do better from here on out. I'm talking about your real parents. You know what I'm saying? You understand the strategy. So what we've been doing is a case of this, 72 for $500. If you pay $20 a piece and $1, I think it's well worth it. But when you start doing 72 of them for $500, you with me? Or 44 of those for $500. Y'all understand the concept, the deal. So who's thinking that, who was thinking about this before? Been thinking about it, okay? Well, I'm going to help you think it through. Who else? Raise your hand. Come up here. If you're thinking about it, you're on the front row. Let me tell you how this works. All right. So what's your name?
Alan Trumbach.
So why was you thinking about the case deal?
I want to grow my business.
Right. But it's a lot of money, right? No.
No.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot of money. It's one sale. It's one app. If you just had a week, if you had this week to make some sales, then you'd have the money, right?
Yep.
No, any doubt about it?
No doubt.
Okay, so you hand them the book, just like this, then you hand them another book. Let me have a circle of you, circle of you. These are yours, by the way. This is yours, by the way. Does this make sense? This is yours, by the way. How does it feel me saying this is yours right now? Like you don't have to pay me nothing.
Feels good.
Like kind of a nice guy, kind of okay. Make sense?
Like these are the people I want to be around.
Who else is thinking about it? Who else over here? Roy, come up here. You got to be. If you're thinking about it, here's what I'm gonna do. Does that make sense? If I had a week or if I had 2 weeks, what about if you had a month before you had to pay for it? Would you be able to get a case? Does that make sense? Who if you had a month, you know you would have the money? What if in a month all you had to do? Think about this. Here's what I want. I told Revis, I said, I got to think, how do I plant? How do I plant seeds? What I put in? Here's what I've come up with. Where's my audios? Can I get a couple more of these audios? Oh, there they are. Who's thinking about this deal? All right. Here's what I come up with. One-time SEAL team. Here's what I come up with. Here's what I come up with. Here's what I come up with. 2 cases. One of Circle U and one of 8 Steps. All the new agent guides too. So that's $1,000. Does that make sense? $1,000. You take them with you. You take them with you. I know there's a stack here, a stack here, a stack there, one on each side. And once these stacks are gone, it's gone. So you can count however many it is. It's one of each, one of the 1,000 and one of the 8 Steps. At the end of this month, we're in August, September 1 is $333. October 1, $333. November 1, $333. $334. Does that make sense? And where's the audio? You were like a new agent. I tell you, and then you go, like, bring the other ones back up here. He's going to need some replenishment. Okay, here's the deal. And one of these, because I want you listening to this on the way home. So I'm flying home. If you're flying home, you listen to it when you get home. Shipping is a concern. If you want it shipped, we'll ship. First of all, what I do is I'd pay the plane because it's a whole lot cheaper to pay the plane to do it. They'll do it for $20 or $30. If you ship it here, it's $100. If you drove, just put them in your car and it's free. Obviously, no shipping, right? So you got nothing down. But if you're going to ship them, you got to pay $100 up front to get them shipped. Does that make sense? But if you put them on the plane and you get one of these, and when they're gone, they're gone. Who else was thinking about it? All right. So let me see if I can explain one more time. When they're gone, they're gone. If you're thinking about it, quit thinking because they're getting ready to be gone. It's $1,000, but you don't have to pay until a month from now. Does this make sense? And you only pay $333. There's a stack. Is there a stack beside right there? Where? Right there. There's a stack beside that door. These are gone. They're gone. There's already, look how many people are up there. There's a stack there, and a stack there, and a stack there. And once they're gone, they're gone. Does that make sense? Now, I've got to keep some in inventory for people that buy in onesies for $29. And I got to 10, if you buy 10, they're like $200. 10 is $200, or you get 72 plus 44 for only $333. Is this making any sense to y'all? If you're going to hire people, what are you going to put into them? What are you going to hand them? Does this make sense? What I'm looking for is how do we get people investing? Does anybody, who's seen Schindler's List? Where the guy says, if I had one more ring that I could have sold and got the money, if I could have hired one more person, if I could have saved one more life. People ask me, say, Andy, why do you get up in the morning? I have people really close to me say, why do you do this? I'm like, have you ever been to one of our events? Anybody else thinking about it? Come up here and get it. Come closer and think about it. What's your name? Casey Alexander. Hold on. If you're thinking about it, take these 2 and go over there and get your 2 cases. Get your 2 cases. Why do I work like that? Why do I go like I go? What does it mean? Do you understand? Y'all understand this? When I was in Amway, when I was an engineer, I had give up. I'm joined the country club. My friends want me to start doing drugs, drinking more and more, being an idiot, being a moron, because I think I got no future. I get in Amway, and they give me a dream. Albright, you could make it. I go to a Sunday morning worship service, and I go, oh my God, these people are changing lives. I go to work. I work like I've never worked before. I paid off all my debt. My wife quit her job. I quit my job. I didn't have a job. I was doing Amway. Why? Because we were changing lives. Was you making much money? No. I was making $80,000 in Amway, had no job. I would sell coupon books, T-shirts, door to door. Fitz was going door to door with me. We were in Amway, but we made more money selling T-shirts and books door to door. But I was still making 80 grand, and I'd make another 40 or 50 selling books door to door, knocking on doors. And then my cousin told me getting insurance. And the Amway guy said, you won't be able to change lives. You can't change anybody's life in insurance. And I said, I'm going to figure out how to do it. I had 2 partners. No way we're doing a church service. Andy, people will run from us. You got too idealistic. It won't work. We can't do it. I said, what if I bought you out? Gina, I said, what if I bought you out? And they said, how big a check? And what I did, let me tell you what I did, Gina. I got my art department to make big checks, huge. And I went and I showed it to them. And I had it blank, and I said, tell me what number to write on this big check. Not kidding, not kidding. I had a big check. And one of them wrote a number, and I said, that's too high, try again. And we argued, and we argued, and argued. And I said, if you would divide it up over 5 years, I'll give you that much. And they said, plus interest. I said, no interest, no interest, no interest. And they said, okay, but you're going to need to give us a little bit up front. And I said, all right. And then we started with the church services. And some of my managers said, this is stupid, I'm quitting. Some of them said, I'm going to steal some of your people. And I said, steal them. We'll deal with it in court. We'll work it out. Some of them are going to stay. Davey said, I'm staying. Davey said, I'm staying. Leventovich said, that's what we want to do anyway. Fitz said, we're going to change lives, ain't we? Abian said, I've been with you this long, brother. I ain't leaving you now. So we started church services. And first we had about 6. Remember we had one in Vegas? 17 people showed up at our first church service. You remember? It was crazy. People, and they go, Andy, most of the world don't believe in God. They don't want to do the right thing. They don't care about family. We're preaching the opposite of what the world's thinking. I said, we've got to find people that when they change, they will join us and we will fight even harder. And it's just been getting crazier every single event. It's been getting crazier and crazier. I'm investing. You have any idea what a 50-person passenger jet costs to go to West Coast? At $200, I'll tell you, it's going to be about $125,000. And if every agency manager jumped in, that would kick in about 15 grand. So it'd be 110.8. An agency manager would have 1,000 in it. That's the program. So why are you doing that? I'm trying to tell you we're on a mission. I need you, if everybody invests $500, if everybody invests $1,000 and that mission goes out, it's seeds. Do y'all understand it? Seeds going out. That's the game plan. You with me? And then we're going to give them leads. But eventually, we're going to have an organization like James Hill. James Hill, how much does your organization do a month? $200,000 a month. With a 10% spread, I'm making $20,000 a month on every dime I've spent on the boys. Does that make sense? You're going to have people like that. Does that make sense? 5% is 10 grand. You'd have to own a hotel to be making 10 grand a month. You understand that? This monopoly is cash flow. It's life-changing. It's a game that just feeds on itself. It's like a crazy, awesome movie where the good stuff feeds on itself. The more I plant in, the more I get back. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. Y'all see how this looks cool going all the way across here? You see how it looks cool going across here? This is a very efficient building. Turn around, look at those black parts. That's sound absorption. So when Bree sings that beautiful music, it don't bounce back. It's awesome. But you see how it stops down there on the end? See how it stops? Don't you think it would be cool if it went all the way across? And the entrance way you came in, and it was just a facade or a false thing. It went all the way across there. So when you turned around and looked back, it didn't stop. I don't think that looks right. So we're going to put that all the way across there. It works. See, you can recruit without putting any money. I can build this business without having somebody like Barry. Where's Barry at? Barry, are you in here? Barry that designed everything. Come up here on stage. Come down here. Let me tell you something. Don't you think, Revis, don't you think that would look better to go across there? And when you come through the doors, I think what we do is we put some kind of ceiling there. And when you come through your doors, instead of seeing all the way up to the black up there, you have a ceiling that's a mural of a bunch of our winners and our people, just like in the front door. That's called investing. It's thinking of little tiny things that helps people, and they don't even know, like when you hand them a free book. Like when you make a phone call, like when you spend $25 or $45 when somebody dies in their family. You with me? It's just little things you keep doing to people. That's what the Bible says when it says, help your fellow man. You're supposed to love them, and they feel this love. People say, but they're stupid. They won't change. Let me tell you how to change people. I'm going to tell you. You accept them like they are. That empowers them to change themselves, because no man has the authority or the ability to change another man. No woman can change another woman. All you can do is accept them and love on them and show them more love and gifts than they deserve. That empowers them to change themselves. Our love is what's going to change people. Accept them mean, ugly, backbiting, lying, didn't come to meeting when they supposed to. Accept them like they are. And say, I love you. It's all good. How do you do it? It's just like Tim said it up here. Every time he says it makes me so mad I want to come up there and slap the taste out of his mouth. Here's what he says. Don't get mad. Don't respond how they respond. Do like this, because you got Jesus and you're going to heaven. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do it, some more of it. Are you sure? I can't tell you how many times I've said to Tim, are you sure? He just laughs. He says, I'm sure. You sure? I said, yeah, I'm sure too. He said, how you know? I said, because I feel good about the ones that change and the ones that do something. And I got a Ferrari now, and I used to not have one. Where's Barry? My mother-in-law said, who designed all this work? This is a man right here. Tell him how much fun you have doing it for him.
What?
Tell him how much fun you have doing it for him.
A lot of fun. Great. It's fantastic.
Tell him some of your thought process and how you came up with this and what some of this stuff means.
Like the Dream-O-Meter, that is everybody talking about their dreams, what they're aspiring to every week. Every day, rose throughout the weekend till it's full.
Some of you didn't even notice. You understand? This is $100,000. But if you took those and you put them right here, you could touch it. And I told him, I said, we're going to be jumping up like this, and somebody's going to break their finger. I said, take them off and throw them away or something. And he said,
put it in the Dream-O-Meter.
You with me? Put it in. That's the way it works around here. What's these barrel things? What's that?
Those are pistons. Because if you went to Nationals, you saw the machine from the outside. This is the inside of the machine. This is how it works. You are what makes the machine work.
Tell them some of the famous people you've worked for, art and design and projects and NBA.
I've worked for Disney, Nickelodeon, Warner Brothers, MLB, NBA, NFL.
What do you think? I'm not going to stop if you don't buy no books. I'm not going to stop if you don't buy leads for your people. I'm not going to stop if you don't send flowers. I'm not going to stop if you don't lend them $100, or like I do sometimes, I go like, just take the money. I don't want. It's cost me more to try to keep up with it and worry about it. Just don't pay me back. And then sometimes they bring money back, and I don't even know it's for. No. If you don't do that, I'm going to continue to do it. I'm a businessman. I don't do it in dumb places. I get deep and wide. Does that make sense? And that's why I invest. Wide and deep. Deep and wide. Deep and wide. I don't even care. I just know I got to have one leg that's massive, another one that ain't too massive, another one, and then I need to be wide as a fat baby's butt. So the brand new people that are hard and don't believe me, I got no edification, I have to pour more money into them. When I go down in depth, everybody believes me because all of them told them I was a nice guy, and what I did for them, I don't have to do as much. Does that make sense? In width, I have to pour in the money. I have to pour in the money to get width. The one leg that's growing like crazy for you is the one I'm probably pouring into. That's why. How come your other ones won't grow? How come you don't pour in my width? Because I'm getting wide. I'm getting deep under you, ding dong. You understand? I can teach you this. I'm getting deep. That's why you got two massive legs, because you ain't doing nothing for leg 4, 5, 6, and 7. You pour into them. But I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep getting wider and fatter, wider and deeper, more secure and more profitable no matter what you do. But I'm trying. That's why I'm trying. Davies is trying to tell you. And I go, like, what if we did this? What if we spread it out for them? What do we got to do to get them in? You're going to find yourself saying the same stuff. And the ones of you that are harder to get to, I hope your downline's hard to get to. Does that make sense? That ain't right, Andy. Well, everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. And you know the secret, so I don't expect you to be a problem. I expect you to be easy. Does that make sense? Get your mind right. Get going. Hey, we got a wrap-up video. I got a couple more of these. Who else is thinking about it? All right, now who else is going to do it and you just want one free book? You going to do it? 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 Who's going to do it? You going to do it? Here you go, Doc. Huh? No payment today until the end of the month. Is that what you got? Is that what the contract says? No. The end of first month is when you make the first payment. End of the first payment. Can we leave it like it is and just draft it on the first? That'll be the first payment. So what the contract says is that'll be the first payment immediately. It won't happen for a month. Does that make sense? It won't have no payment until a month. Everybody makes mistakes. What? You're going to pay? That one's free in addition to paying. You understand? It's the deal plus this. You do it today. Yes. You want the deal? I'm telling you, it don't matter. It's not coming out to the end of the month. That's what we just cleared up. It's not coming out to the end of the month. There's no payment until the end of the month. Well, go get it. Don't tell me. I'm not taking orders. You in? You already got it. You got it. You get two. You get two. Good. This deal is for two. If you already got the first one, you got the first one. This deal is you don't have to pay. You get two of them. It's for two of them. Does that make sense? Last one. I like her. Oh, hold on. I got one more. Here you go. Get up that iPhone. I can't give that away. Hey, look. Let me show you how to do this. Hold this right here for me, Garrett. I want to show you how this works. Some agents will and some won't. How many of you like the card deal I was doing? Have you did the deal? You doing a deal? Pack of cards. You already got one. Tony, you in? You in? Are you in? All right. Y'all understand? No payment. I understand we screwed up the contract, but it's not going to be one payment until the end of the month. Can I get that wrap-up video played? And then some nice soft music, Billy. I mean, fast, upbeat, but not crazy loud where it hurts their ears this time. We got a wrap-up video, guys. You are in it. Hello. Guys, go get you some. We're going to be here around here as long as it takes or until we run out. Guys, listen. Get your mind right. Make commitments during this emotional situation and then keep them tomorrow. It's called character. It's how you build wealth. It's everything Jeff Bright was talking about. Make your decisions before you leave. Write it down on a calendar. Put it in your Outlook. Text yourself. Make your commitments before you leave. Guys, I love you. We're going to see y'all on the beaches of the world.